You guys already know by now. These pieces of shit at Warner Brothers Discovery, because they only fucking care about tax dollars and give a fuck less about artists, decided to
and
take.
It's so great that you own so many of these properties, you fuckers.
They took 200 episodes of Sesame Street off.
Yeah,
of
we saw
HBO
that.
Max. There's a I think it's J.G. Quintley is his name. He made a show back in the day called Regular Show on Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
It's a fucking funny show. Then he made another show that was more adult-oriented animated show called Close Enough. 3 seasons. It just got canceled. They ripped it all off the fucking site. And this is what fucking drives me insane. And I'm gonna start going back to buying physical media because this is fucking ridiculous. What you are telling creatives. Thanks for the work. Thanks for putting the blood, sweat, and tears to write this stuff, to animate this, whatever it may be. Put this effort into this.
We're just gonna bury it.
Because you and I know doing something creative takes a lot out of you because you're pouring yourself into it.
Yes.
And then to have this big megalomaniacal fucking corporation,
some dipshit in a fucking boardroom,
just throw it in a trash bin somewhere and not even think about it.
Because
of tax write-offs.
He's some asshole in a fucking boardroom who's doing coke off a fucking hooker's tits while another hooker licks his asshole.
That being said, I'm
making these decisions.
That being said, I'm still an HBO Max subscriber.
I'm not, but only because I told you that.
Well, I'm too lazy to delete it, I think.
I just got lucky because I had to get a new card, and then I started realizing, wait, I don't need to keep these subscriptions.
And that's the thing. HBO Max was my favorite of all these streaming apps.
I'm glad I never started selling off all my DVDs.
It was the easiest it was super. I know I gotta fuck it. I'll add to my fucking Blu-ray collection.
Right.
That's partially why I did it, because I was getting pissed because the movies I wanted to see, and we were all sold this fucking lie that streaming services will have all these categories digitally there.
As long as they let us,
right?
Apparently,
unless you're,
Gee, the streaming services sound an awful lot like comic book companies until about 10 years ago.
And this is what pisses me off. This is what pisses me off. I love DC as a brand so much. I want it to be successful, but at the same time, I don't fucking care. I hope Warner Brothers Discovery goes down the tubes. I hope they get dismantled and destroyed because I'm so sick of the way they fucking treat creative people. They completely terminated a movie. This movie was in test screenings. Mm-hmm. So that means it's almost done. Mm-hmm. Batgirl, and they fucking canned it for tax money. They took 200 episodes of Sesame Street, threw it into a garbage bin somewhere. Yep. Took a huge percentage of all of their content and just threw it in the trash because that's what they call it. They call it.
I don't feel bad about letting that lapse at all. No.
They call it content. It's not movies. It's not shows. It's not stories. It's content. That's all it will ever be.
And it's certainly not somebody's heart and soul, you pieces of shit.
And this is why there needs to be a line in the sand somewhere. We have to do something. And I know there's actors unions and writers unions and things like that, but there's got to be some sort of way to stand. And it's hard. It's an uphill battle, but there needs to be more. This is what happens when you let fucking monopolies take over industries.
Yeah.
This is what happens.
Didn't we have a law about that in this country?
And yes, you can blame me. You can blame you for watching, Disney shit or watching Warner Brothers shit. I get that.
Oh yeah, we're totally loving these things that are being brought to us by a monopoly.
Sure, but
while bitching about monopolies.
Yes. So that's what
fully aware of the
That's
irony.
what I mean.
That's the difference between us.
But that's my point, Tyler. I don't want to be a part of the problem. I want to see other companies rise up and make a change and change this because this is not how you do this shit.
Yeah.
And I remember Ethan Hawke talking about it, where people seem to think there's no value in art. It's like, okay, well, what happens when you have a traumatic experience and you lose the loved one? You get broken up with, or something bad happens to you. You want to find a song, you want to find a poem, you want to find a book or a movie.
Something to help you through that pain.
The minute you take value out of art, you're taking value out of it in enjoyment in your life.
Yeah.
Art is just as necessary as anything else. And to just think of it as a fucking number on a spreadsheet is disgusting. And It just pisses me off because and again, it's gonna hurt them in the long run. That's what I just don't wish they would understand. Is you could argue and say this stuff happens all the time. Yeah, shows get canceled, movies get canceled, things like this happen, but not to this fucking scale.
No, this is a slaughterhouse.
And every single person that worked on those projects,
this is a massacre.
Every single person that worked on those projects, it's gonna remember. And they're going to work with somebody else. And they're going to try and find somebody else. And it's going to be hard for them. And it shouldn't be, but it will be hard because it's a gigantic corporation. But those people aren't going to want to work for you. They're not.
You know how I recently was going through some rough times, and I basically just made the decision kind of arbitrarily to move the album from November to January?
Yeah.
Now, part of that was, hey, I don't want to put so much pressure on myself to get it done. Part of it was I'm going through a lot of shit that I have to deal with, and I don't know if I want to, and I don't know how good any art coming out of me is right now. But part of it was just being pissed about something else and making a rash decision. I'm going to keep it because that gives me more time to make my album, right? But honestly, a part of me wishes that I hadn't made that announcement, you know?
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of stuck with it, which is fine. Nobody cares that much. I'm not, like 4 or 5 people. But still, I'm kind of stuck with it, right?
You could change it technically.
Of course, I can change it to whenever I want. But I'm trying to have some integrity, unlike some people like HBO Warner or like Warner Discovery. Those people have no integrity whatsoever. None. No. And the thing is that, you know, you make all these announcements because you're super fucking excited. You're like, we're going to make a Flashpoint movie. We're going to have Michael Keaton in it. We're going to have a Penguin. We're going to have a Green Lantern. We're going to and literally the next day after you come down from your, Coke binge with the hookers, not that there's anything wrong with sex workers at all. There's nothing wrong with people who do sex work. But anyway, then you realize, oh, maybe I shouldn't have fucking posted that on Facebook that we were going to make a fucking Flashpoint movie. Shit.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that where you send out a tweet and you're like, oh.
All right.
And that's exactly what Warner Discovery is finding out now. That whoever was in charge of this shit and just made all these stupid, rash fucking announcements all the time. Well, now nobody fucking cares what you have to say. How do you like that? Nobody cares.
Nobody cares, Tyler.